The Four Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse.
And welcome, a Beardsman episode with a difference. In fact, it's even got a whole new name. Welcome to the first of the 5 o'clock shadows. And today's guest, well, he's familiar to many of us, and indeed he's my fellow Beardsman, D.B. Rook. Welcome to 5 o'clock shadow, the bastard offspring of the bookman of the Bookpocalypse. And just to give a bit of, I suppose, background to what we're doing here today, the idea is really with the 5 o'clock show is going to be a bit more of a one-on-one direct chat with authors, book adjacent people that we love and want to chat to, and just have a bit more of a one-on-one chat than the usual four of us charging in. So hopefully it's a bit of fun, and hopefully people will enjoy that. Just give you a chance to hear a bit more about books and the people that we love. So DB, you've got under the question today, so sit back, relax, assume the position. And we're going to start with this wonderful book, Residuum, which is your new novella that came out a couple of weeks ago. And whilst I try to find my first question, so this is your new novella, which represents a departure from your usual fancy into the realms of sci-fi. I suppose first up, maybe you'd like to share about where the ideas came from, where the inspiration of it for the book was, and
well, I never really set out to write sci-fi, if I'm completely honest. I started sort of doodling with an idea that was it was a bit more classic zombie based. So obviously you've read the book. I wanted to do some kind of like escaping from a chaos of some kind. It was going to be zombies, and then I kind of thought I don't really want to do another generic zombie book. It's not my favorite thing, but I just had that sort of flavor. So then I started thinking about what is the equivalent that's a bit more relevant to now, and then the idea of AI and technology obviously is all over the place at the minute and quite threatening. So the zombies became robots. And then I was in sci-fi land, so that was that. I mean, it's quite soft sci-fi. It's not really heavy science stuff, but it's definitely sci-fi fantasy.
No, and it's definitely that mashup as well. Is that, as I said, you've got that dystopian element to it. I think described as the death-dealing robots. And don't spoil it, but that was a lot of fun. And it's interesting that you mentioned about that zombie, because you can see that element. I could see how that initial part of the story could have arisen from that sort of genre. However, I do think the robots was a wise choice. So
thank you. That's good.
That was very good. Now we've got a sort of, I suppose, a saying or a tag that we've used in the book, the Beardsman, a few times, is that brown paper bag quote. Just to explain to people that may not be familiar with that. There's a number of bookshops where you can effectively buy a mystery book and you just get one or two sentences on what the book is. You get no genre, author, title, or anything like that. There's just a couple of lines on selling the book. So I'm going to ask you, what's the brown paper bag quote for Residuum?
And in its shortest form, Residuum is teen angst, robot genocide, and data pirates. Space pirates.
There you go, folks. I think we'll stop it. We're going to stop the interview there. Can't get a better answer than that. So, if you're in for a bit of teen angst, death-dealing robots, and some data pirates, absolutely jump into that. And I think there's elements of, if you enjoy any of those fans of Firefly, there's elements of that. There's that sort of found family elements to things as well. A lot more heart than you would think when the story starts as well, which I think's really good. So packs a lot of punch into a smaller package. I think that's to be congratulated, and hopefully you get more success. And we certainly look forward to getting a few more books in that space.
There will definitely be more. Yeah,
excellent. Please, secretly, people, I know that already, but I just wanted to drop it in. I've been lucky enough to sort of see that story evolve over the recent months. So it's fantastic to see it out in the world and getting some rave reviews, which is awesome. I would just not to move away, but we'll sort of circle around your other books just for a little bit. So for anyone that hasn't picked up any of your other stories or books, what would be the elevator pitch? Now, whether that's the brilliant Callus and Crow, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, which is also a fantastic book, or some of your short stories, which I know you've got available on people subscribe to your website and that sort of thing, which again, some real doozies in there as well. What would be your sort of elevator pitch and your sort of style or the type of books that you write?
I think if you like real relatable characters thrown into absurd situations and absurd worlds with a bit of, I wouldn't say humor, but a bit of charm, I think that's where my voice is. That's where I am. That's like I love to kind of make a real character that we all know, that we can sort of recognize, but then throw them into some kind of insane giant spider asteroid belt craziness.
Yeah.
So you get to experience this insane world, which is quite usually very insane, but from a real point of view.
Yeah, it's great, and that's absolutely right. It's like, you know, none of us could really imagine a world where there's genocidal robots and data, but you're in there, and it's not contrived. It's not felt that there's real consequences. There's actually, you know, it's not sort of magic, sort of not defending anyone's Star Trek sci-fi where, you know, last and everyone still gets up again and is fine again. You know, there's real consequences. Yeah. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's bloody, but
yeah,
as you said, it's drowned in that realism, which I think is, and same for Callus and Crow, and you know, that's something. And I suppose, you know, in relation to those, or continuation of that question, is what sort of makes your influences or your inspiration for these stories? Is it where do you drive? Where's the DB Rook muse?
So the initial idea, before I ever really started writing seriously, I like to, you know, like real ancient fantasy art from the like 70s and things like that, where you've got some image of an insane mutant dragon thing, whatever it is, and you've got a cowboy and you've got a computer and you've got like a load of insanely different concepts kind of smashed together into a painting.
Yeah.
I always used to love that stuff, and I used to think I need the story that led to this point where this fight is happening, or this.
Yeah.
So that's my process is very much create an image of things that don't fit together, enjoy that image, and then kind of reverse engineer the story that got there.
Yeah. And yeah, as minute as I started hearing you explain that, and having read, you know, a lot of your work there, that just resonates completely, because it's that mashup of genres, but sci-fi and dystopian in Residuum, or the sort of the Western fantasy element in Callus and Crow. That mashup of genres, I think, are ones that I've enjoyed. I talked about this on another podcast a little while ago, and I think some of the books I've enjoyed the most in the last couple of years are ones where there's been a mashup of genre, where it's not a straight up fantasy, a straight up grimdark, or sci-fi. It's a bit of everything, you know, bit of space westerns. Our fellow Tom Bookbeard, and he's got Sky Pirates and that sort of elements there. Douglas Lumsden, who we'll chat to shortly, matches up crime noir and fantasy, and that, for my personal taste, I've loved. So, you know, I'm fascinated to hear the origin story, if you will, of your book. Yeah. So
it's fantasy and sci-fi is kind of it is a saturated market, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of amazing stuff.
Yeah,
but a lot of stuff that is really sort of formulaic. It's got your orcs and your dwarves, and it's got your standard stuff. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to read. That's not dissing that in any way.
Say that same thing. Yeah, sometimes you just want to vanilla straight up fantasy, you know, heroic heroes, whatever it might be, you know, or you know, you want those morally grey characters and the world's shit. And no one's going to come out of it well.
You want to be surprised. You want to go on a journey that surprises you, and you remember the sort of doors in your brain open, and you realise that there is a way that westerns can meet space or whatever. I mean, there's pitfalls in that, because obviously you have to spend a lot of time constructing a way to match the
Yeah.
genres without it just being ridiculous. So
Yeah, not being contrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's fun, but I think I say if you can do that, you create something fresh, and I think that the authors are doing that well. Including yourself. I know we both enjoyed Undead Samurai by Baptiste. That's another one where you take your feudal Japan samurai, and on the face of it, you think, oh, is that going to work? Like, that sounds like and something saying two of your favorite things doesn't always mean that it's going to be great. But if it's done well, as you said, and it's not contrived, I think it's fantastic. It gives you are literally getting double of what you love or what you enjoy or something, or flipping your expectations. Even if the author does take decisions with end of certain books that you'll never forgive them for.
No comment.
No comment, listeners. But read Casting Crow, you know what I'm talking about. So there we go. So we've spoken about themes and inspirations. Is there any particular themes you find yourself being drawn back to just naturally, and whether we may have already covered it, but do you find yourself returning to certain themes in writing that
well, I'm writing now. I've finished Residuum. I'm kind of back in the world of Carlson Crow, the Wayward World, and it's Western. It starts Western, but in the same way that Carlson Crow goes on a journey and goes somewhere else.
Yes.
So there's characters who have come from a Western place, so they are still the Western characters, but we're into a whole new a new biome at the minute, and I'm not sure if I should share that, but
no, I think little non-spoiler tidbits are good. We like that.
Yeah. So they're into a place that is both familiar and different and still fits into that world, but you've not seen it in the first book.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, guys. You've got an exclusive here, world exclusive, on the next book in the Wayward Worlds Chronicles. So you've got time to catch up. Read the others first, but I think we're going to be all looking forward to that coming out soon. I'm going to shift things a little bit and say, of the many characters that you have, and there's a lot of different ones, are there any ones that were particular favorites to write that you particularly enjoyed spending time in their heads?
Yeah, so I enjoyed writing Laz. I know a lot of people have enjoyed Laz, Captain Lazarus Blackstock.
Yep.
He's just so completely insane that it's kind of like you have to throw your color palette out of the window and just write whatever he decides to think about. So he's very much fun. And then the other thing, which I hope is not some kind of problem with my character, that there's a kind of a bit part character in Carlson Crow who's more in the epistolary kind of stuff. He's not a main character, and he's a huge religious zealot, bigot. He's got some really horrendous ideas. I really enjoy writing that bigotry, even though it's like the polar opposite to my own views. I really enjoy sort of writing someone to be such an absolute git. And I don't know, I love it. I really like it.
Maybe it's freeing to sort of throw off the shackles and
well, it's like,
even if it's someone who's quite abhorrent.
You can write their horrifically ignorant opinion, but you can subtly weave a little bit of satire into that. So although the character's being deadly serious and horrific, as the person that's writing it and reading it, there's a little bit of humor about that guy and a bit of a dig at him at the same time. So I really enjoy that.
I imagine as well as the case of most in those sort of more realistic books, I say realistic, but sort of those are a bit more reality. Most villains don't think they're villains. They think they're right. And in fact, you look at a lot of history, and I think when we spoke to P.L. Stewart about his his main characters there, that they're not very nice people, but they think they're fantastic. They think they're right, and that's quite true. So I think
especially if you're in some kind of leader role, you are a leader. So the people that follow believe in what you're trying to peddle.
Absolutely, and I think if you wrote, "Oh, I'm going to wake up and be evil today," for the sake, people go, "That's not very realistic."
No, definitely,
So I think that's that works very well. No, definitely. Oh, okay. This one, opening the portal into the mind of DB Rook.
Don't do it. Seal it up.
Don't do it. Where would you think? Well, so I suppose the first part of the question is where do your characters come from, and the second part of it, or parallel part of that, is would any of your friends or family recognize themselves?
I mean, I guess all my characters and things like mannerisms and turns of phrase are inspired by real people, but I wouldn't completely mimic it.
Yeah.
So for example, say I've got a friend who always, scratches behind his ear or something. I would recognize that as a trait and think that's a really human thing to do.
Yeah.
I will do something similar to this character. So we will have the same frequency of habit, but not the exact same thing. So I don't think anyone would recognize, but they are laying the building blocks down for all the kind of ways people speak.
So if I keep looking out for a beardless Australian in the next book, I'm going to be disappointed. Is what you're saying? Okay, fair enough.
There are a couple of people in Pelican Crow who, not in character but in name, who I've named characters after. So,
that's nice.
There's a lot of hope that as they're reading it, they'll find their own name and there'll be a bit of delight. But I did have to give them sort of disclaimer that it might not be a nice character. It might not be a character.
Oh, no, that's great. I have been lucky enough for a couple of authors that, help the past have included my name in a book. And I said, please kill me horribly. I want to die horrifically.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, that's been quite fun. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind. And I suppose in a sort of slightly related thing, and you mentioned earlier about the inspiration, but what was the prompt, or how did you start the writing journey that you're now on? What's the origin story?
The backstory: I was bitten by a radioactive spider. That's that old thing. So I was writing as a young man. I was writing a lot. Completely unguided, completely innocent to the whole industry. I was just writing stories, and I kind of realized I was just trying to be Raymond E. Feist. Really, I loved Raymond E. Feist. I loved his books, and I wanted to do it. So I started just writing these stories. I've never actually finished a book, but there was a lot of work which I've never gone back to, but I intend to.
Yeah.
And then I went through, I was just about to become a father. I got a very demanding job. So I kind of thought, right, I'm at a crossroads. Do I keep writing or do I just sack it off? So I thought, I do actually want to keep writing. It's really good for my soul. It's what I want to do. I love spending time in fictional worlds and stuff like that. So I thought, I can't waste my time becoming the lesser Raymond E. Feist.
Yeah.
So you need to find your own way of writing, and if you're going to do it, it's not to emulate someone else. It's to do it for you. So that's where the idea of the Wayward Worlds, and I'm still writing fantasy, but I'm writing my own fantasy. I'm not just following anybody.
Yeah, and it has a unique voice. Definitely, I think anyone that's read your books would definitely pick up on that. And you mentioned Raymond. At least you've spoken with that one, the other half of his writing partnership only a few weeks ago. So you're getting a little bit closer to Raymond.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's one of many heroes, but as I say, like not an inspiration in terms of what I write, but an inspiration in the time I've spent in their stories.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of authors like that. That you'd find. I think you could find inspiring. You wouldn't. One day I hope to maybe do something. I don't think I'd ever be presumptuous enough to say, right, I'm going to suddenly write like Stephen King, or I'm going to write like Yanni Verts or whatever it might be. But if they're inspiring you to say, I love their books, what do I love about it? I think that's a source of inspiration. I think that's got to be a good thing, and you're taking a step down a road that I certainly on many other reasons enjoying your book. So very glad that you took the plunge and didn't sack it off all those years ago.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's demanding on time, but
yep.
couldn't live without it. Without these little
And-
people that live in my head, I couldn't exist.
And you have these people demanding you do podcasts every few weeks as well. That takes up all the time as well. So
Yeah, I am
appreciate that.
indentured. to the
That's it.
Beardsmen.
That's it. We do it because we love it. But next question, a little bit left field, but Hollywood, Netflix, insert streamer of your choice here, and it could be any of your books. I'll or stories come to you and say, right, we're buying the rights, but we want you to cast the crew or the main characters. I'll let you choose a book, but who would you choose? And maybe chuck a few names out there.
So, Callus and Crow, I very much in the beginning. I very much cast it to begin with, and I was free and easy. So it was like people that would never do it, but just in terms of having a face that I know it works in a certain way, and how they scowl or how they whatever. So Callus and Crow, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, right choice.
Yeah, I mean, he's the right sort of. I mean, obviously, he's a bit older these days, but he's the right sort of age, as in kind of older than a teenager, but not a grizzled old guy.
Yeah.
And then Callus is Javier Bardem.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, for Old Man, and he played that great baddie in one of the Bond films. Like name escapes me now, but yeah,
amazing guy, and he's kind of got that that Native American sort of twist to his face, which works for Callus, and and then Laz, Ernest Borgnine.
Yes,
yeah, he was never going to be anyone else.
That's it. Yes, it's great. Oh, that's a great choice. Well, now that's how I'll be.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because the way I write, I don't give tons of description for my characters, because I set out to always want to be able to my readers to create their own character. So I give them some structure and I give them some sort of highlights, but I don't want to force them into have this guy's got this hair and these shoes, and I want him. It's fine if my character in your head is a completely different. That's fine, because it's your experience.
And I think that's why so many of these, the great books, yours included, which one day will get made into a movie, let's hope. When a lot of these adaptations where it's TV or movies, where people go, that's not right.
He's not got blonde hair.
Lord of the Rings or the whatever it is. Because it is so personal, because that's the whole point of the fiction, is that you've grown up or read these books and imagined it in your mind and have those images and someone hopefully now screaming the screen going, he's never Callus.
No. Yeah. I mean, it comes from the idea, in fantasy, there's a lot of ambiguously pronounced names and
absolutely,
concepts. And I always had this thing that, like, I'm reading it, I pronounce it however I want. And it comes from that, really. It's like, I don't think there is a right way. Obviously, if there's gonna be an audio book, you kind of have to put something on it. But just as a disclaimer to the world, if you mispronounce any of my characters or places, or you knock yourself out, as long as you're enjoying yourself.
And I like, for years I read the Malazan books. Probably just after school, maybe when I was just leaving school, just after perhaps. And I had a complete, I won't say it out loud now because it's quite embarrassing, but I had completely different pronunciation. And this is long before I just read a lot. I wasn't involved in any sort of booktube or reviewing or anything. I didn't even know any of that existed. And then, what's this Malazan people are talking about? And then the penny dropped. I went, right. Okay, well, there we go. Still wrong, by the way, but anyway. Well,
I think the human brain tends to, we see a weird name that's pronounced in a certain way. The human brain assigns a word to it in your head.
Yes.
You don't bother reading it every time after that, because you've already set it. So you can go a whole book.
Yeah. He's Pete wrong, now, and he's always going to be Pete, and he'll be Pete till
yeah, definitely. And
I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's all good. So moving away from the that question, I suppose the next one is maybe more of a tip for aspiring authors or writers of any description. How do you go about establishing these connections with your readers? That screaming into the void and trying to get noticed that a lot of we all talk about. But what's your sort of approach to sort of building those connections, those relationships?
I think, and I still am screaming into the void. Don't get me wrong. I am not. The readers aren't battering my door down, but I think doing stuff like this, doing stuff like the podcast, getting out there and doing something different that's at least getting your name recognized is essential. But I think the thing that I love about the indie scene is that people will genuinely support each other. It's not just supporting each other to get a foot up for yourself. It's like a cyclic thing where you just support other people, just get to know what people are writing, get to know what they want to do and share, and just back everyone else up. I think it's a very human thing to do, and a lot of people aren't very good at it, but I think that's the way. I'll be happy never promoting my book again, but promoting the scene that sits around it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that's so I find obviously sort of adjacent to, I'm not brave enough to be throwing my thoughts and things out into the world for people to read and comment on. So I'm always in awe of you authors that do that. But I think you're right. It is a very supportive scene, and that lifting up and not seeing as competitors and it perhaps in the same way that traditional publishing is sort of maybe set up, because it's a race to find the readers and get the bucks and do those sorts of things and again doing different events. And I think it's an analogy of it. I do quite a bit of running, and you look at, say, a marathon running, which is very much a sort of singular pursuit, and you are literally in a race against other people. Whereas I've done some quite long trail runs, where you're out there for hours and hours and hours, and you're not racing other people. It's very much a supportive thing. Are you okay? Do you need a hand? And it's I think that innate thing of wanting to see other people succeed and do well is why personally I love to spend time dealing with people, talking to people, going to events. And I'm not so I don't have any massive connections either, but I think it's sort of going out and going to some things in real life, or some face-to-face things, or conventions, or whatever it might be. I think I think you're genuine. I think if you're genuine out there in your approach to people, that comes through as much as it personality can do on social media and things like that. But I think if genuine, that does attract people, pick up on that pretty quickly.
I think people do forget that although DB Rook is a company. At the end of the day, it's a company that makes books, and everybody else has got that sort of business head as well. But they are people, and I think a lot of people forget that it's a person. And if somebody emails me and says, "Oh my God, your story made me feel loads better about life," or anything like that, it's a genuine, warm, amazing feeling that you've had that effect. But people forget, and they think you're a company. And the things like I do the character interviews on my website.
It's a great.
I get a lot of submissions for that. It was designed for, again, to help other people, but also to give me content, to have my website actually living and breathing. But you'd be surprised how many people send me the interview questionnaire. They don't speak to me. They don't say, "Hello, how are you doing? Would you mind checking this out? Is this any?" They just think I'm an entity, and they just send me a questionnaire.
There's 5 people beavering away in your office, and just
just pass that on to my team. But it's bizarre, and I think that the biggest bit of advice is that all the people that are writing in the indie scene, some of them might be bigger than others, but they are human beings. Well, at the moment, they're human beings. They care about what they do, and there's a passion, and be genuine, and support each other.
100%. I mean, that's what I found when I've told this a few times, so apologies for boring anyone, but when I stumbled into sort of the whole indie scene, it was back in the middle of lockdown, and I sort of stumbled on a couple of book podcasts, and then a couple of authors said, "Oh, hey, if you want to copy my book," he messaged me, and so I messaged a couple of. Joel was one who wrote Seeds of War, and suddenly I was interacting with book and be able to sort of, say what I enjoyed about it or ask for fit, and then suddenly you're involved in this wonderful process, and even just from a sort of lurking on the fringes, that was tremendously satisfying. So I think what I've learned is do go and tell. I'd implore people, go and tell the author, even as you said, even if it's just a message to say, hey, I loved your book, or you don't have to write a sort of 20-page review and analyze the minutiae of a book. Just shout out why you love about it, encourage other people. I think that's what way you can really help people reach a wider audience. So yeah, definitely kudos for doing that. So being a man of many talents, you're also musically inclined, and we've been lucky enough to hear some of your music. Would you like to tell people maybe about your band and where they can find if they've what your sort of music is?
The intro and outro music on the Beardsmen and on this show is provided by my band Terminal Sun, who are a kind of retro post-apocalyptic death metal band. So if you're interested in anything heavy or kind of anything that's very relatable to the intro music, you can check us out. There's a website, I think it's terminalsun.co.uk. It might be .com. But if you type in Terminal Sun anywhere, you will find it.
Go find it.
Go do it. Yeah, we're just working on our second album. The first album was quite a big success in our little niche. Quite extreme. It's not for everyone, but if you're metal inclined, then I would love you to go and have a look at what we do, or come and see us live by all means.
Yeah, absolutely recommend. And again, probably that's another scene that I heard a lot of. Don't know a lot about, but I keep hearing what a sort of friendly, creative scene that is as well. That everyone's those big scary people, but again, some very welcoming and another great part of the world.
The same concept. They're actual people who care and they're creating something. So support them, be nice, tell them you like the music, tell them that you like how they play their guitar, or whatever it is. They're human beings, no matter how many spikes they've got on their arms or how much makeup they've got on. They are humans who care. So
probably be just looking to have a chat about it. So yeah, definitely. So we're going to slightly left field question here, but I'll throw it out there anyway. I don't know why I picked this number, but I have. If you could ask 5 authors to dinner, who would they be and what's on the menu? And I should add alive or dead.
Okay. I see. I'm not very good at choosing anything, so I'm going to struggle. But
okay. Well, let's open it up. It could be authors or characters. It could be literary characters.
Oh no! Don't open it up. Don't. If it's characters, we'll be here for months.
Okay, we'll keep it
authors. So if we're getting around the table, I would be choosing based on a kind of diversity. I wouldn't want all the same kind of authors. I'd be looking at getting it a very interesting conversation. So we would have H.P. Lovecraft. We would have John Gwynne. He can bring the epic Vikingish fantasy. J. Christoph.
Oh yeah,
he's quite a big inspiration of mine in terms of not being trapped in the same genre. He's happy to go wherever he decides to write.
Absolutely, yeah.
Robin Hobb, because Robin Hobb is a religious entity. I love Robin Hobb.
Yeah.
That's 4. Ooh. 4. Right. Okay. That now we're going to struggle. Maybe David Gemmell, just because if he's allowed, we have to invite David Gemmell.
Yeah, we can reanimate.
Yeah,
bring
and
him
that
back.
would be a good conversation. Yeah,
definitely.
In terms of what we're eating, I mean,
I don't know their dietary preferences, so this might be yours.
Well, I don't want them all eating that much because I want them to talk. So maybe just chips and dips.
Chips and dips. Why not?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I don't want to. I hate it when you're like in a restaurant and you've got a mouthful and some waiter comes and says, "Is this all right?" And you kind of so don't eat too much, guys. But you can come to my house and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. And judging from the many interesting beverages that are consumed on the Beardsmen podcast, I'm sure you give them something good to drink as well. So,
maybe that's the key. Yeah, we're not eating, but we're all going to have some kind.
We're drinking. I'll have to work on that question. Maybe what are we drinking? That might produce some more interesting answers.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting towards the end of our question, I've got a couple more to go. So, tell us something about yourself that not many people know. Now, it doesn't have to be a deep, dark secret. So, just to add, but what was something you think might surprise people from what they know about you already?
Oh man, that's going to be
It could be you press wildflowers whilst putting ribbons in your hair. I don't know. I'm exaggerating. But
most of the things that I do and am, that's what I talk about on social media, like my whole nerdy tabletop side. Let's go on to the next question, and I'll let that.
Okay, that's all right. I've won, people. I've stumped him. Yes. Well, I've got to sort of finally wrapping up, Chris. But I suppose, firstly, what are we reading right now? What's on your nightstand? Keeping you engaged.
So, like everybody else, I'm reading about 3,000 different books. I'm doing a lot of audio books at the minute, so that's where I'm getting a bit more progress because I'm listening in the gym and driving and stuff. So currently listening to R.S. Belcher's Six Gun Tarot.
Ooh,
just started that. Excellent. I'm trying to get myself back into the Western thing just because of what I'm buying.
Soak up that,
and another Western. Well, I think it's going Western. I've only just started this as well. Blood Rush by Ben Galley. Really good. I'm really impressed with. I've never read anything by Ben.
No, I haven't either. But he's got a wonderful catalogue of books there, and I've got some loaded up on my Kindle, which I do need to get to at some point because they seem to be very popular, and people speak highly of it. So,
and he's kind of the hero of the self-publishing world because he started it all way before, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he's certainly been doing it sometime. So he's definitely one of those pioneers that people are going to look up to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's all a bit Western at the minute, but like I say, I've got half read books all over the place as well.
Yeah, well, we alluded to it earlier, but I suppose that as one of your not just your fellow business, but a lover of your work, what's coming next for DB Rook?
So I'm hoping it's not going to be too long before the sequel to Carlson Crow comes out. Yes. I'm about I'm beyond the 3/4.
Oh, fantastic! That's great.
First draft, and I've kind of been going about it a bit of a weird, controversial way, editing wise. So because I know I'm so slow at writing and so slow at putting things out, and I want to get something more out quicker. The next book is in 4 parts, and I've been writing a part, getting it edited, and then moving on. So by the time I've read
get it relatively complete before moving to the next one. Yeah,
it'll take a bit of another pass when it's all written.
Of course,
lots of the legwork of sort of tweaking bits and bobs and tidying up has been done. So when I finish the final part, it'll be quick and on the shelf.
So it'll be interesting to see how you find that process, because I've heard a few of the other authors that do something similar. They sort of edit as they go along. So I mean, it'll be you'll be able to compare the two processes, I guess.
I think it's, for me, it's going really well because I know that not only is the first 2-3 parts written, they've also been scrutinized, and they've certain things that might need to change have changed. I think the downside is for the actual people who are editing, because I'm like popping up 9 months later and going, I've got another part for you, and they're like, "What book is this again? Where's it set?" And they're having to sort of reread to get into the vibe. So they might not look fondly on me, but
that's their problem. I think it sounds like a good process. So
I'll
Very
tell him.
pleased to hear it.
Tom Carley says this is the way.
Yeah,
So
that's just suck it up and do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, if it means I get my hands on book 2 sooner, then I'm all for it. So that's the end of our main question, really. So I just thought it might be worth just just give you a chance to shout out people where they can find you online.
Okay,
get
so
hold of
I'm
your
still
work.
swinging onto Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky more than anything. I have got accounts on everything you can imagine, I think, but I'm more active on Blue Sky and Twitter.
Yeah.
Got the website where if you want to read some interviews with other authors' characters, there's hundreds on there.
Highly recommend people doing that. That's a lot of fun. You can tell a lot of authors have a lot of fun. Sort of.
Yeah, it's
really
good when people get the concept and go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an excellent one from one of my favorite characters from Residuum tape deck. So highly recommend checking that one out.
Yeah. So you were the inspiration. You gave me hope to do that. So that's all thanks to you. So hopefully that's enjoyable. Getting a bit of a look behind the scenes of an assassin robot.
Yeah.
And I've just started a Ko-fi coffee.
Oh yeah. Well, again, one of those ones I don't know how you say it, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
But you can buy on that. So if anyone wants a signed book, they can get one from there without going to the giant consumerist entities that run the world.
Excellent. Well, highly recommend if you're able to do that and support TV, go and check it out.
And you'll be glad to know I've thought of something that not many people know. Certainly nobody in the writing community, except one author will know about this. I enjoy My Little Pony.
Yes.
Did you know about that? Yeah. I when it kind of came back out and I had little girls at the time, so I was watching a lot of it.
Yeah.
I actually sat there and thought, this is really well written, good characters. I enjoy this show, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
So there it is. I've admitted it.
So guys, if you're wondering what DB's up to when he's not writing and doing other things, his daughter's probably grown up now, but he's still check out My Little Pony.
Rocking the My Little Pony. I've got a Brony T-shirt as well. So I don't know if you're familiar. Brony is the male fan base of My Little Pony.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, there we go. Thanks for sharing. And
not a lot of people know that.
No. Well, I do now, hopefully.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for everyone that hopefully sees this. If you could share it, like it, any feedback, it'd be great. Wherever it's going to be evolving side hustle, inverted commas, if you will. But it's just a chance to really selfishly for me to have a bit of a chat with people that I enjoy speaking to, and hopefully you'll enjoy the conversations. And thank you for tuning in. And till next time, look after yourself.
Thank you. Take care, all.
You've been listening to the Four Beardsmen of the Bookpocalypse.